catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.
Kind of see me as we do this, and I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for your patience today. We are here finally, and I just want to remind you how we do what we do here on Storytime, okay? If you've never been here before, I want to say thank you. Storytime is a place where we connect, okay? Human beings connect through life experiences. So I want to invite you to like, share, comment. And generally, we're here on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and Sundays normally at 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay, and if you're interested, if you go to Instagram and you send me a DM at Shout Crystal, if you have a story to tell, and we can do that. Now, here's what I want to invite you to do while you are here, because this is the important thing. Just take a few minutes and share this live with 5 friends. If you come in and you do the replay, I want you to type replay, but I want you to be sure to share this live. Now on Instagram, some of you recognize this name, Karl Shaft, the bodyguard, and we're going to find out a little bit more about him. So the only thing I want to ask you is just like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. So we're going to get this party started, and we're going to get our guest up here, and we are going to allow him to come on stage because I see him backstage. And while we're doing this, I just want to say, sit back, relax, get you something to drink. I normally, if I was home, I would have my normal Storytime cup, but I have me some ice cold water. So get whatever it is that you would like to have. All right. And we're going to have a good time. Carl is going to get ready to come up, but I want to do one thing, just one thing to remind you about what we're doing and how you can get involved with the show. If you've never been here before, Storytime, check this out. All right, everybody, are you ready? This is Crystal. I am so excited to have you here on Storytime. I want you to know that now you can be seen and heard. Yes, Storytime has expanded, and you will be able to see yourself streaming live on multiple platforms. So come on over and get with us and check it out. I want you to go ahead and schedule your interview, and you never know where they might find you online. So thanks for watching. See you somewhere on the internet. Let me unmute myself. Let me say that again. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, just know that when you want to be seen and heard, we make that happen for you, okay? Right here in Storytime. Okay, we're gonna make sure that they hear you and they know who you are. All right. So in the meantime, get ready, get ready, get ready to receive our guest, Mr. Karl Shaft. We know him as the Bodyguard on Instagram. Karl, are you with me? Hey, what's going on, man?
Salute, salute. How y'all doing?
We're doing amazing. We're doing amazing. We finally got here, man. We finally got here. We've been talking about this for a minute.
Yeah,
It's been a minute.
it's been a long minute.
Now I'm hearing something. What am I hearing? I didn't hear that before. That sounds like birds or something. You have your TV on in the background, Carl?
I got my air humidifier on. That was about it. Is that
Okay.
better?
Yes. Yes. Much, much better. Man, how was your day going today?
It was good. I mean, no complaints, really. Pretty active, pretty busy. I had to go to Walmart. I had to go Costco's.
Now you
Daily routine and errands.
got out the house. Okay. Okay. Well, it's interesting because the way we met is on the internet. And in 2025, so many people are meeting on the internet. And sometimes they get to meet in person and sometimes they don't. And I did have the honor to meet you in person. And I have to say, you really the same person that you are online
Thank
in,
you.
in person. Uh, I appreciate your hospitality, and it was pretty cool meeting you. And I wanted to have this conversation with you because I always notice your perspective is always one where it's one to try to protect people and inform people and bring awareness. So I want to get into that and really delve into that. But before we do that, some people may not have ever heard of Karl Shaft, the bodyguard. Even though I know a lot of the celebrities know who you are and all those people in the clubs and the bars and on the scene, the Hollywood scene, a lot of them know who Karl Shaft, the bodyguard is.
Oh,
But for
yeah.
the people who never, ever heard of you before, if you will, I would love it if you would take a moment just to tell the people who is Karl Shaft and start from childhood. I always like to go back to the little boy stage. Like, who was called the little boy? Like, a little bit about your background, like where you from, if you came from a small or large family, just a little bit of your family history.
Oh man. Wow. A lot. Um, I've always gonna say that my life was an actual movie. Um, a lot of people, a lot of good times, a lot of bad, a lot of sad, a lot of learning curves, a lot of everything. But the consistency through it all is just maintain logic. Okay, when it came to my family, I'm born and raised in New York.
Okay, but back up, do one thing because I want to put the camera back on you. On Instagram, you're a little close, so I need you to back up a little bit because
Oh
watch the screen when I screenshot you alone. Just back up a little bit, okay? So they can see you. I don't know if you can see yourself
no, I
back.
can see it. I
Okay,
can see it.
all right, there you go.
Am I good?
Yes.
All right.
On Instagram, you're a little close. It's like that you right up
Oh
in the camera. So that's why I'm trying to tell you, sit back. Maybe if you're in the chair, if you could pull your chair back a little bit,
no,
maybe.
I did. I'm all the way back. I just pulled everything right. So I'm good.
Okay, gotcha. So talk to me. So New York City, born and raised?
Yeah, born and raised New York, and I'm one of them. I was one of them kids that, like every other kid, go to school every day and class clown, be average. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I was beating up bullies growing up. I just couldn't take anybody being a bully to others, and I would literally do that, beat up bullies throughout I would say from fourth grade to my junior high school years. It was like that. So
You were beating up the bullies?
yeah,
So
yeah.
talk to me about that. What made you take on that responsibility? Did you get bullied once? And then when you got bigger
No, no, no,
and
no.
tougher,
I've never got bullied a day in my life. Um, it was always, I just didn't like seeing people suffer. You know, I didn't like, you know, the kids, they was getting their lunch money taken. It was just about doing the right thing back then. So I
Wow.
just, yeah, it was always about doing the right thing. And I enjoyed it. You know, I got a lot of I got a lot of excitement out of it, if that makes any sense.
You got excitement over beating up the boys?
Yeah, I got excitement over just correcting things. You know, I was a strange kid growing up. I'm not gonna lie. I would say I was more nerd than anything because I had a grandmother that used to whip my behind. Read the dictionary every day. Every day it was read the dictionary. I want you to spell it out. I want you to sound it out. I want you to understand the definition. So the dictionary was very big on me back then. And
That's where that comes from. Because when you're on these podcasts, you always are so definitive about the words and about people
yes,
understanding definitions. So that comes from your grandmother. She instilled that in you.
yeah, yeah, she definitely did that. My grandmother was, I would say, she was my advocate slash representative. You know, because she was the type of person that made sure I was on the straight and narrow, or I was on the good foot, as they used to put it. So you know, but she ran the house. She ran the show. She ran everything. It doesn't matter what your parents said. My grandmother said this is the way it's going. It's going that way.
Wow.
So
So if you have another device on, you want to turn it down because we'll stream this and I'll send it to you because I'm still hearing a little echo. But let me ask you this. So grandmother ran the house. A lot of times I hear you talk a lot about the man being the head of household and the provider. So I'm kind of surprised to hear you say that your grandmother ran the house.
well, she had all the final say. You know, it was like grandpa, he was quiet, but we know that they worked together. They had this 50 years, 60-year type of marriage and, you know, met together high school and, you know, been together ever since type thing. The typical thing that most of our grandparents went through back then.
Wow.
But the thing about it though is my my father had 19 brothers and sisters.
Wow. Wow.
So on my father's side, everybody's been married 20, 30, 40 years. Um, everybody have kids. Everybody lived in the same residence for decades, a same job for decades. That type of upbringing. Um, on my mother's side, it was similar the same way, but a slight difference because there was more people on my father's side than my mother's side. But the structure and the dynamics was still the same on both sides. You got up, you go to work, you work hard, you earn whatever you want. You got your family, and I don't want to curse on here, but my aunts used to, you know, give us these little tidbits as teenagers. And she used to say, if you F it, you keep it. If you don't plan on keeping it, don't F it. So I guess that's where, you know, we all had to understand that as growing up. My cousins, myself, you know, I'm the only child. So we had to grow up understanding that we we work hard to set the standard, set the stage. Here, y'all got to follow. Y'all have to catch, you know, carry the torch. So you're muted.
As a little boy, let me ask you this. Was you a quiet kid in the classroom, or was you in trouble a lot, or was you the guy? You said you were like a nerd, so you were kind of like the bookworm.
I was the nerd. I was very inquisitive. I mean, I was the guy that I got to learn everything. But I was a class clown. I'm not gonna lie. I would make up all kinds of jokes and things. We used to play the dozens a lot, so I was very good at that. So yeah, I was a nerd. I was also inquisitive, but I've had a lot of jokester moments, you know. And I was always the tallest guy in the class. That
Mm.
was all.
Was
From
you a big
fourth
dreamer? Was you a big
from
dreamer?
huh?
A big dreamer?
No.
What
no.
did you want to be when you were a child? When you thought about when they asked you that question in school, elementary, middle, what do you want to be when you grow up? What was your answer?
I really hate to answer that question because I said it for almost. I remember saying it from when I was 12 till I was about 17, and then I stopped. I said I want to be an OBGYN doctor. I swear to
Really?
God, yeah. And then I said I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to just have my own business. And then I just stopped thinking altogether and just let life, direct me where it wants me to be.
So at this stage, when you were this guy, you were thinking about being an OBGYN.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where'd that come from? You have doctors in your family?
Um, there's a lot of nurses and RNs, LPNs in my family. There's a lot of even my dad worked in the hospital, but he was a cook, So there's a lot of people in that. But the thing with the OBGYN was I just wanted to learn different things. It wasn't just I wanted to learn how to take my bike apart and put it back together. I was the kid growing up, especially in my teenage years. I would get a brand new toaster, take it apart just so I could put it back together. I wanted to learn the intricate parts of how things work. And that was me, just Mr. Inquisitive. I just got to learn.
Wow, wow. So there was a shift somehow at some point. There was a shift because you did not end up as an OBGYN. You ended up with a firearm in your hand and wanting to protect and serve. So talk to me about when your mind changed and when that happened.
Okay, now this is going to sound awkward, crazy, and wild, but I left my mother's house young and I moved over. By now, we're talking about 30 something years, 35 years they've been married, and they decided to separate. And like I said, being the only child, you're like, hey, that's cool. I'm gonna have two apartments, right? Yeah, okay. And I left my mother's house early because of something she did that I didn't appreciate. So I moved over to dad, and me and my dad was like a scene from Sanford and Son, if you're familiar with the TV show. That was
Yes.
dynamic. And he always told me, I don't care what you do in life, just be good at it. But he always stressed that you got to work hard. After high school, graduate, yeah, what you gonna do with your life? I don't know. I really don't. There was no dream. There was no, I'm gonna grow up to be this or that. It was none of that. Nothing in my life after high school was planned. Everything just opportunity fell in the lap, right place, right time. So of course I worked in a group home up in in Westchester. I got a job making $10 an hour in Kings County as an attendant. Um, Large story. I applied for a job, got the job, didn't know what the job entailed. And the funny part about it is the day that I reported, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll never forget. And they put me in this room, a big giant room. And there
Wow.
were a bunch of guys there. And this guy over here lifting weights, this one's on the phone, this one eating, these guys playing ping pong. And all I know, there's a red light going off. And everybody dropped what they was doing and ran out in the hallway. And the guy was like, come on, you gotta come. And we got out there and they started handing us helmets and sticks and rushing to this freight elevator. And it takes us up. And then there's a little lady behind this little glass door, or whatever, and sudden knock. And then you hear some guy, everybody started screaming. You hear a guy saying, LL, and then you hear a guy say RL, and a guy says neck, and all these different things. So I didn't know what the hell. The guy said, no, just be patient, just stay behind me. The moment that lady opened the door, the guy that said RL went directly over to the patient's right leg. LL went to the left leg. The other guy. So basically, our job was to hold down teenagers that didn't want to take their medication in the G
Mm.
of a mental hospital. I didn't know this. I didn't know. So that lasted for less than a week, and I quit because I wasn't doing that. But auto parts warehouse, all these different things. And then the turn came when I got into male stripping.
Okay.
I did that.
Now male stripping, but that right place, right time also? Because I know you said right place, right time. So
Yeah.
how did you end up being a stripper, Carl?
I was believe it or not, I used to love to dance a lot.
Well, I'm glad you didn't send me one of those pictures. You sent me a lot of pictures, but you don't have no pictures from the stripping days, huh?
No, I don't even think AOL was even thought about at the time. Um, it was far back. Yeah, but I remember dancing, and a young lady approached me and said she liked the way I dance. What's my name? I told her. She introduced me to her husband, and they said they had a troupe, and would you be interested in dancing with us? And I said okay, and it just took off from there. A lot of it wasn't like the thing that you see today. It was more like you're on stage, the music is playing, you do your dance routine. I don't know if y'all remember Houdini, but
Oh,
Houdini
yeah.
he had that black round hat. I had one of
Mm.
those. I had a 3/4 long leather thin coat that I would have on with nothing underneath, and just come out do my dance. And we didn't come out picking up chicks and all of that touchy whatever. It was just come out, perform, and go.
So let me ask you a question. Being a male stripper,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, people, sometimes married men go, sometimes men go because they just like women for entertainment. Sometimes women go. It's a lot of touchy feeling. There's a lot happening after people go to these male strippers. Some just go. I mean, I remember I've been threw a couple of dollars out and everything sometimes, but it can get kind of heated. It can get kind of
No,
interesting.
it does get intense, but I remember the guy. It was 8 of us, and I remember when we would go out and do shows. Remember we did Savoy Manor, which was in the Bronx. We did Parkside Plaza, which is also in the Bronx. We did 3 spots in Jersey. One was in Trenton, and 2 was in Newark. I remember that. But we didn't go out there and did all that touchy stuff. It wasn't like that at that time. That was later that you see guys going to pick up females and doing all the simulation contact stuff. We wasn't doing that. We just danced, did our show, and that was it.
So, did you ever have an encounter that made you feel uncomfortable as a dancer? Like, did a woman ever get too aggressive, or did you ever have a man approach
I
you?
mean, no, there was no men in the audience. But I can remember a few occasions. There was a few that were, I would say, yes, aggressive. I mean, from throwing the underwear on stage, trying to get up on stage. I've had 2 instances where the show is over, everybody's gone, we're the last to leave, and yeah, female is outside, popping up by your car and all that. So
Wow.
it
Wow.
can be crazy.
So let me ask you something. It can get kind of dangerous for women. Does it get dangerous for men being a male stripper too?
Uh, it's way more dangerous in a sense, in my opinion. It's way more dangerous because nobody's expecting you to have any problems. You get what I'm saying? Like a female is different because you there's guys lurking in the cut, whatever. With men, the average mind ain't thinking, oh please, he can handle himself. He's a big guy. So it's more dangerous for us because like in anything in life, if something goes wrong, you're gonna be the first one to know about it
Mm-hmm.
or to pay for it, or.
So that seems to be an interesting phase of your life. So you went and you were given the opportunity to be a stripper. So then something interesting happened, and you wind up working with, was it the police force that you worked with, or
Yeah,
what? Did you get some?
I got in and did corrections first.
Okay.
corrections for a few years, did it like it, and it was one of those situations where either you leave or you get put out because incidents that happen that had
Rikers Island, or which one?
yeah, yeah, Bronx House and C-73. It was a few places I've been at. So yeah,
And
and
that's interesting too, because I know working behind those walls is really something. I mean, and there's some interesting stories. I've seen people working in the prisons, having babies, having relationships with the guards and the inmates, and all kind of stuff going on inside.
we've seen all the fights out in the parking lot after work. It's a lot of yeah, yeah. Majority
It's
of stories you hear are true. I can tell you
wow.
that. So
So, would you say that the system is better now than it was when you were working in it? The correction system?
no, no, it's more. I would think it's worse because it's not ran on principle. It's ran
Mm,
on politics, and you know during that tenure, it was during that time you can handle business and everybody knew what it was. Now cameras and politics and procedures and you just can't take care of your business by yourself. It's just different.
and you know what, Carl? I see a lot over the last few decades with people being wrongfully, tried and getting sentences. And then I just saw last couple of days ago, a man got out after doing 26 years.
Mhm.
He did 26 years and he got out and they said, sorry, okay, we know it's not you. You can go.
Hey,
26 years later?
and that's been going on for decades. There's a lot of people, male, female, mostly men. It's ironic, and I've seen a lot of stories where it's a lot of black men at that that's spending decades for stuff they didn't do because DNA wasn't out during that time, or whoever was investigating did it half-ass. It's a whole lot of crap. People lied. That's
Yeah.
common. You know, what can you say?
Wow. So let me ask you this. If there was a family member watching this that has a situation like that, or they have a tough case, any advice to them of what they can do for their loved one or their family or their significant other to help them to either get an appeal or to not give up? What would you tell them if they're in a situation where they know they believe their person is innocent, but they're in that situation? Any advice that you would give them on how they should go get help to try to not give up?
Well, I know most people in responding to that would say just keep praying and keeping up hope and all of that, but because I'm more stickler for micromanagement of things, learn the law. Learn the law. There's nothing wrong with you pulling things up, read, understand, process, and try to. You got to get creative sometimes. That's what the law is. The law is this, but there's loopholes, there's things that I saw in civil that I could use in a criminal or vice versa. I saw something in matrimonial that I could use. So it's like you just got to study and get creative. And it doesn't hurt to get a real good qualified attorney, not somebody that's out for the money, but somebody that really is passionate and know what they're doing. But a lot of it you can do yourself. You can read, and I'm not going to tell nobody to go out there and play your own detective, but it wouldn't help. It wouldn't hurt you to go out there and revisit, retrace those steps. You might come on. Somebody might know something.
Yeah, I agree. And even if they give you information, like go read up on it and make sure you have full understanding, ask questions and make sure that it
Yeah.
is what they say it is. You know what I mean? Because there's such thing as second opinions, even with lawyers, right?
Mhm.
You know, people should go get. But now, what about those good old public defenders? You say go get a good one. Sometimes people can't afford one, and they wind up getting one assigned to them. And sometimes when
Well,
you get those assigned to you, some are really good, and then there's some, like you said, either just doing it for a paycheck or they don't even care. Like,
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna try not to be, you know, neg- I'm not. I'm gonna be nice about it. I don't care what it is. This is a conversation about being prepared. If you know you're gonna be doing some dirty stuff out there, be prepared. If you are a rightful citizen, you do everything right, still be prepared. Is you could be one of them people that never even got a Parker ticket in your life. Make sure you have a best friend that's an attorney or in the legal realm because you may need it.
Yeah.
You may
Yeah.
need it. Be prepared.
You have to be prepared, and you just have to always be evolving and always be learning
Yes.
as every year come, continue to grow, continue to better yourself and find out something to help you in every facet of life, because
Mhm.
you can never learn too much, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So you switched up. What made you transition from corrections to the police department, and how was that transition for you?
Um.
I mean, it was like one day you said, "Man, I got to get out of here because this ain't for
No.
me." So
Yeah.
let me try
It was a challenging transition, but transition nevertheless completed. Um. I'm one of them guys that if I say right now I want a cheeseburger, I'm going to get that cheeseburger. You know, whatever it is that I want to set out to do, I do it. I don't think about it and let it linger because that creates stress. I prefer to just think about it, research, and just do it. You know, don't take up idle time. And but like I said, you know, it was fun. A lot of great people, a lot of great brothers. You know, my best friend Willie Mae, we met there, and yo, she was. It's sorry to say, but she was the only female best friend I had that I could trust with my life. You know,
Wow.
so she met my dad. They got along great. You know, everything about me. She was a part of it. You know, when I started my business, she was a part of it. She wound up working for me after she retired, even while she was on. So she's just been that second hand to me the whole time.
Wow.
30 years, 40 years.
So how was it becoming a police officer? Was it complicated for you, or was you somebody boot camp was
You know,
easy for you?
we was because she was also my partner too. We was the I don't want to say negotiated. We was firm, but yet we were down to earth. Like it wasn't going around just beating people up and bullying or nothing like that. It was like, come here, bro. Let's smoke a cigarette and talk about it. Is this really what you want to do? You know, there's some people you can reach mentally, emotionally, you know, even psychologically. And then there's some people that, man, buck this. You don't. There's no, you know. But like I said, there's good and bad in everywhere you go and everything you do.
Exactly. That's
Um, did I run across people that I wanted to beat them up in the back? Yeah, of course. And there was certain people that really trusted me, really interacted with me personally outside of work. And like I said, it's just life changing, game changing, and just learning. That's all it ever is about. It's about learning.
So, Carl, a lot of people don't take time to educate their children and their young adults on how they need to respond when they're stopped by a police officer. You know, we've had a lot of situations where people were, uh, you know, inappropriate or mouthy, or
Yeah.
sometimes they weren't. Sometimes they were actually not doing anything. Any advice to individuals that still today don't know how to respond or react when they get pulled over or they get in a situation with a hostile police officer?
There's two parts to that question. One, I know that it's not expensive either, especially if you're in the black community, the hood, Latino community. Take your child to the precinct, enroll them into the Explore program. Every precinct in New York City has an Explorers program. enroll them. Let them get that uh, paramilitary. Let them get that cadet training. Let them get that discipline, because especially if you're out there being a single parent and you want your child to succeed but stay out of trouble, that is as constructive as it can get. So get them in that explores program. Every precinct got one, and follow up behind them. It doesn't mean that they're going to be police officers later. It just takes up the space and time of their constructive minds, rather than be out there trying to figure out why the YMCA is not open, or the boys club and all these things is not around no more. Well, that's still around. So get them in that. The second part of that question would be also, I advised a lot of people about how to get your children in a habit of wearing their state ID, picture state ID, around their neck, not in a wallet, not in their pocket, around their neck. This way, if you're like this, you can pull it out with the chain and do like that. And all your information is seen and heard. You can still keep it. So you have to train them how to not give a reason for anything else other than compliance. Now, I didn't say there's no knuckleheads out there that's still going to be roughhousing, stereotyping, racism, whatever. I'm not saying that's not going to exist. But when you get into a trained mind, you kind of like take them off guard, like the drill. You understand? I'm going to say this. In the next 5 years, I could see every person wearing a body cam out here. Just so this way, when they are confronted with a situation, here you got audio and video.
You mean
and no matter what happens to the camera, it's already sent to your cloud. So that way, you're always protected. Also with the kids, mostly under 16, I would say even 18, the way things is going crazy. Put an Apple tag, put it on a chain, and wear it in the back. This way, you parents can be accountable where your child at all times.
Right. So two things. You said, number one, are you saying you think eventually in 5 years from now, everyone will have a body cam, not just the police officer?
Yes. I strongly appeal to people to get one. Go on Amazon, go wherever, get you a body cam, and put that bad boy on when you're in a situation of any sort where you think that you need it recorded.
So is that legal? Is that legal?
Of course. There's nothing illegal about you having a body cam around. No.
Okay. And do you have to let the officer know that you have one and that you're turning it on?
No, you don't have to tell them nothing. You just put it on. There's no law that says you. That's like you're telling me you can't on your cell phone press record. There's no law that says you can't.
Well, sometimes they try to tell people, cut that off. You can't.
No, they tell you to cut it off for intimidation reason, but you could be across the street and hit that record button and zoom in. Ain't nothing nobody could tell you to do.
Right. But I have seen many instances where the individual that is actually having the altercation or the conversation or engaging with the officer, and the officer saying, cut that off, and they'll snatch the phone or something like that.
No. Like I said, if you ain't doing nothing wrong, you got nothing to worry about. So there are some that they know that, hey, I don't want to be recorded. I don't want things to wind up on social media, So when you feel guilty, I can see that. But when you're not, I've seen a lot of officers, they do. There's a flip side to everything. You see officers at parades, even in the hood, they don't mind being, hey, you want to interview? Go ahead. I don't care. Just, so it's not all bad and negative.
They're not, because you've seen a lot of them doing TikToks and dancing, like if they're the trending dance, trying to make sure they let people know that there's another side to them. And
they're normal people just like anybody else, getting a paycheck, doing a dirty, thankless job that most people are not qualified to do. And there's some that you have to respect them. They deserve it. And there's some that, hey, I understand. There's, like I said, there's good and bad in everything. The bottom line is the body cam that you go purchase, that you hook up to your cloud, That's for your protection. Nobody can take that away from you.
Right. So they call you went from doing all those years, and thank you for your years of service. Thank you for
Okay.
everything you've done. Have you had to save a life, like doing CPR? I think CPR is something people
Yeah,
probably need.
that goes with the territory. I've delivered a baby once in the subway. I've done a lot of stuff. I mean, you know,
Wow. What's the most exciting thing that you did that made you feel like good? Like delivering the baby, maybe, but that exciting, or maybe bringing that person back to life doing CPR. What was it that
time
really gave you
I think
satisfaction?
one of the biggest gratifications is stopping things from becoming worse. That's it. As long as I can intervene and stop somebody from doing something on impulse or emotion rather than logic, and that means that tonight they don't go to jail. Tonight they go home to their family. Tonight you go home safe. That's all that matters.
Wow.
You always give people an opportunity to choose their own outcome, their own fate. If they work with you, if they listen to you, or they show respect, whatever, hey man, everything don't have to be in the negative. I've seen guys ready to fight somebody, and you walk up to them and say, "Yo, bro, coochie, Newports, weed. There's certain things that's not allowed in jail. Make up your mind, bro."
Wow. So then when you made the decision to retire, was it after you retired from the
No, no, no,
police?
no. Let me slow that down. So I was 12 years in, and I started with meeting certain people. One of the people that I met was in Philadelphia was Charlie Mack. Around this time, Meek Mills was coming home from jail, and Kevin Hart was just starting out, and Jill Scott was just starting out locally, and Karis One and Buckshot did a collaboration together, and it was around that time is when the whole business thing started. Because there was um, there was offers like, hey, I like how you work, I like how you handle people, I like professionalism, da da da. Yo, why don't you come on board and do this? We'll pay you, this, that, and third. So it was like, thank you for putting me on. And I got the bright idea again to say, let me do this. Let me invest more of my time and effort into it. And before you know it, like anywhere else, your name gets around, reputation, a few clubs and bars. Like I tell people, everything started in Philadelphia, and it got
Wow.
expanded to Jersey and New York and everywhere else. Because my father passed away, and I wasn't just going to give up his spot, so I kept that. I had my own, and I've been maintaining both of them ever since. But 12 years in is when I started the business. It was about '05 or so. And as time evolved, that first 5 years, so 2005, 2010, it took me that long between the local bars, clubs, lounges, or whatever, just to get your reputation, your name, and all of that out there.
Wow.
Um,
And
and then,
that's when the armed bodyguard became the celebrity bodyguard.
right,
So to speak.
right. Because by 2011 and 12, I was registered with Central Casting. I was, like I said, Willie Mae, God bless her. I wish she was still around, but she was the one that, hey, start taking pictures because I hated pictures. Start taking pictures and just guiding me through. Um, there was another young lady. There was about three of them that guided me through this whole processing of things and guidance. So
And
I,
you went from there to here. You
yeah,
you took a career of protecting and serving and building a reputation to
yeah.
being the man, like being the
But
guy that they
but
wanted.
it but there was some like the intricate parts was everything started like 2000, 2012, 11 and 12. That's when I started doing more TV shows. So we're talking about Black Ink. We're talking about My Wife and Kids, Law and Order SVU, Blue Bloods, um, It's like 6 TV shows I was on
Wow.
during that time. So that
And
kind of blew it up, if you want to say.
wow. So I saw some of the pictures,
Yeah.
and on that note, I think this would be a great time. I think on that note, I think this would be a great time to show the slideshow, because Carl has done so many things, y'all, that is hard to put into words. But I did put together a slideshow after he submitted some pictures to me. And I think this would be a great time to share it with you so you can kind of learn a little bit, because a
Mm.
lot of times we meet people and we don't know who they are. So how about checking this out? Wow, you have really done some things, been some places, met some people. It sounds to me from listening to you and watching the slideshow that you had a pretty full life, you know. No regrets. Some people live life and they say, "Man, I should have did this. I should have did that." Now
No.
you're at a point where you're retired. You can
Yeah.
sit back and you can choose what you want to do. Uh,
Yeah.
Horseback riding, going on a boat, going on cruises. Uh, what do you enjoy the most?
I enjoy fishing. I enjoy jazz music. I enjoy peace and quiet. I enjoy spoiling myself. And I only got one thing left that I want to complete. I want to buy an RV and I want to travel state to state.
Yeah, that's one of the things on my list too. So all this you're doing by yourself. A lot of times when I'm talking to people, ladies be looking. So I remember in when I read the intro said single, and so all this stuff you're doing by yourself. Talk to me about that, because a man that has accomplished everything you have accomplished, why are you single?
You know, I'm at a level right now where I'm content, I'm comfortable, and I'm where I want to be. So, and that's after going through many trials and errors because everything is a learning curve, everything is an experience. Everything doesn't have to necessarily relate to trauma as people do on social media. A lot of experiences is just things that you got to learn from, and it's up to you to put in place for for you not to repeat it again or allow it again. So that's been my journey for most of my life. I did have an ex fiance. We was together 9 years, and she passed away. She had an epileptic seizure and passed away a week before we was getting married. Um,
I'm so
but like I
sorry.
said, thank you. But like I said, I've been surrounded throughout my life with some damn good women, some good friends, um, some good partners, some good insights, blessings. So yeah, if I had to start my life all over again, I would have changed nothing. But I do miss the 80s and 90s when people had their brain cells. I don't know
Mm,
what the hell happened after 98, but that was the music, that was the mentality. It was a different vibe. And I'm
yeah,
gonna miss it.
yeah,
Miss
yeah.
it.
So once again, I'm sorry to hear about the young lady passing away.
Mhm.
So any plans on possibly trying to get married again if you find the right one?
Of course, I'm always open to that. That's never been a closed door. It's now that I've retired from all this stuff and trying to enjoy the fruits of the labor, I had to realize the toughness that because of all of this stuff, it didn't allow me to focus. This is why I had to learn the hard way. You don't think you could take on two, three things at the same time and complete them all and everything's good. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. You're gonna give more of your effort to a job than you do at your home. And I
And
think
sometimes
that's
it pulls on you. I mean, a lot of careers
yeah.
do pull on people. I mean, it's not by choice. Individuals don't have much to do. And once you do get retired, it does give a person an opportunity to focus more and do more for themselves, you know.
And you can't assume that the person that you pick or want can handle that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people I've seen them get with someone and they just assume that because of a few words, oh, they can handle you being gone for 12 hours, 10 hours. They can handle with you being around so many different types of people out here, or that you may not make it home alive. Not everybody can deal with that.
So I see you a lot on different podcasts. I know that you do a weekly one yourself with Evo,
Yes.
and it's been very, very interesting. The topics are always interesting. Shout out to that whole crew, and I look forward to
Yeah.
interviewing and talking to all you fellas about your different perspectives on that. Actually,
Mhm.
that's coming up next week, y'all. So tune in for that. But
Yes.
I also see you on Dave Like TV, and there's a lot of topics coming up. Dave does an amazing job about
Mhm.
putting what's relevant, what's happening in the world today, and he goes into that. And I always see your perspective. You have a pretty broad perspective, but you also sometimes you come down kind of hard on the women. You come down kind of hard on the ladies, and
No, no, no. I'm actually harder on men than I am on ladies. And my thing over the last 5 years has always been thought provoking conversations, meaning I'm gonna ask the questions that people don't talk about. This is why one of the things that everybody know about me, I tell women all the time, don't sleep with no man that don't have life insurance. If he
mm,
can't take care of himself, how you gonna take care of you?
but guess what? If you're not married to him, you can't get that policy.
It,
So
it
even if
doesn't
he
it
has
doesn't
life
work.
insurance, if
You
you're not his wife, you don't get access to his policy. You don't have a say about what happens if he goes in the hospital and he has to be pulled off the plug or something. His children will.
That's what I'm talking about is helping women decide what stability look like and what long-term stability look like. Stability right now is you can maintain yourself. Stability long term is someone prepared for the responsibility of another person. Two different things. So I'm more about people being stable for themselves. If I meet someone or they meet me, the woman should be asking the dude, How long you been at this residence? How long you been at your job? Do you have life insurance? What is it about you that would make me understand and know, not think or feel, know that you're prepared for the responsibility of dealing with a woman?
Yeah.
Not to talk about building together. You should come already built.
Well, people today are too focused on the physical aspect of it. They're too caught up on physical, and some people, bless this young generation, they thinking about six figures and the wrong stuff. I always say you need to be thinking about who's going to be there for longevity, who's going to be there when you get
Yeah.
sick, who's going to take care of you.
Yeah. Who's going to wipe the crap from your behind if you're sick tomorrow, next week? When you're incapacitated, everybody think that it's when you get older you worry about that. There's people 30, 40 years old that's going through real serious medical issues.
Yeah.
Who's watching? Who's going to make sure your bills are paid on time? Your kids are okay. Your car, everything. Because it's just like if a person goes to prison, everything they own is gone. So it's the same thing if you're sitting up in a hospital in some incapacity. Who's going to take care of it?
So wait, elaborate on that for a minute. You said if a person goes to prison, everything they own is gone. What did you mean by that?
Meaning you can't sit here and tell me if a woman or male goes to prison, who's paying their rent on their house or their mortgage or whatever while they're locked up? Nobody, because they don't have nobody. They're single. But if you have a partner to maintain, see, that's the thing why two people is necessary. You have somebody that advocates for you, your best interests at heart. So if you get sick tomorrow and you got to be in the hospital for 2 weeks, don't worry about it. Your partner is going to make sure the house is settled, the kids is good, and the bills are paid.
Now, on that note, I have to throw a sidebar in there from my book that I wrote, Final Wishes, A Transition from Life to Death, because one of the chapters I talk about is being prepared. So there are insurances that you can get that can help you in those situations like critical
Yes.
illness, hospitalization, and indemnity. So
Yep.
you can, if you're single, you can be prepared for the unexpected. You can set yourself up to where when you get diagnosis, you get a check. And when you do your health and wellness checks, that you get paid. So there are ways that you can sustain yourself and have that success alone until you find that right partner, because you don't want to get with somebody if they're not the right partner. They have to be aligned. You want somebody that has similar goals, that's going down the same path, because you can't get to the same destination going two different ways. You can
But
get there, but you might get there two different times.
uh
You know what I mean?
and
Like I can go left and you can go right, and we can meet here, but if we didn't go the same way and we don't have the same motives and the same goals,
mhm.
I believe if it's not alignment, then there's an issue there. And that's why I talk a lot about getting to know individuals, because I think it's important. If you don't know what their moral standards are, what their ethical background is, if you don't know a little bit more deeper than, oh, I'm attracted to this person, you might have a problem.
Everybody has some faults, and nobody is 100%. So adjust, adapt, accept. It's a AAA program I've used for decades. Adjust, adapt, accept, because when you realize you're not trying to control something, you're just trying to learn, adjust, and adapt because you understand you can't control it. That's all it is. I'm trying to get people also, since there's a lot of people that are over 45, 50, be prepared for life after that. Do you have enough set aside for that wheelchair, that scooter, them $300-400 pills you got to take to stay alive? Medical insurance and even a person's upkeep, daily day upkeep, is way more expensive after 55 than you was when you was 30. If you're not prepared, you're in trouble. Medicaid, all the things that you thought was fly, whatever, 30, that ain't going to exist after 55, because everybody's going to look at you as a liability, the government, everybody. So
Yeah.
prepare yourself for life after that. Don't wait till then. Start 40s. You know.
And you know what I have to say to God be the glory for this one right here. If some people are fortunate because they have children, some people are fortunate because they have children that think about their parents aging, and they
Mhm.
as they plan. I had a conversation with someone today that was telling me that they were picking a house, they were looking to move, and they're planning. And she said, "Yeah, there's a bathroom downstairs, a full bathroom." I said, "Well, why does she want a bathroom downstairs?" She said, "Because she's planning on being prepared to take in her parent,
Mhm.
and they have a plan. They have a plan to take in both their parents. The children already had this conversation, like, okay, well, you gonna take this one, and I'm gonna take this one." So
Right.
some people are fortunate enough, but I'm gonna tell you something. That only happens when you pour into your children. That only happens when you
Mhm.
connect with your children. That only happens when you nurture your children. So what am I saying? I'm saying if you're a parent in 2025, make sure you're taking time out to connect. Don't just be so caught up on social media, on devices,
Right.
doing things that you don't have conversations, you don't get involved with your
Listen,
people.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I love the fact that I was blessed to sit down with my grandmother and my grandfather and ask them about their childhood. I was blessed enough to sit down with my mom and dad and ask them about their childhood. This way I can get a idea of why y'all taught me the way y'all taught me. Because it gotta come from somewhere. You
Mm,
understand? But one of the most important things I need people to understand is I love the fact that there are children that's taking care of their parents, preparing their parents, assisting their parents, and all that. But I'm more concerned about those single ones that took the last 20, 30 years of their life playing.
mhm.
And now, when they get up there or if they get into a situation, now you want to hijack the sympathy vote and steal your kid's life away to take care of you instead of you having a partner to take care of you. It's sad to me. I don't want people to get used and get their life stolen because somebody decides they want to be selfish. And I'm only saying that because rather they family or not, it doesn't change the fact that they can't treat you worse than a stranger on the street.
Well,
Take
um, some children are going to be there and some children are not.
hmm
There are some people, they're just not going to do it. And then there are some parents that have told their children, I don't want you to do it. Like, if something happens to me, put me in a place because I don't want you to take away from your life, like what you just said. But then there are some that have seen it, like me. I watched my dad take care of everybody. I watched him after he retired, when he moved down to the South, go around, make sure all his aunts and everybody was good, make rounds, checking on people, going. That was his routine. Going to the cemetery, I'm going to this person's house, see if they need some food. I'm gonna go. So I watched him. So
Mhm.
we are what we live too. So whatever we see growing up, that's who we're going to be when we become adults, and that could be good or bad. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we have to be careful because children emulate what they see,
Oh,
you
definitely.
know.
I tried. I emulated my dad so much from the Red Devil hot sauce to the toothpick to because my dad he was one of them dudes that he can walk into a place in 10 minutes everybody loves him. I'm the guy that when I walk in, people got to grow on me because I don't have that eccentric personality to make people. I guess it's their perception. You know, my father was short. I'm tall. My mother, she's short. I'm tall. You know, I miss the days when she used to always take me shopping with her because she would use me as like a defensive end of some sort. I'm always in front of her to push everybody out the way so she could get by. Um, my father was proud of me because of all the accomplishments that he was alive to witness. Um, like I said, 30 something years together, divorce. Mom got remarried. Dad had his girlfriend for 20 years. After he died, a few years later, she passed. Mom passed before him. Everything just, and out of 19 brothers and sisters, I only got one aunt left. So
Wow.
I know all about loss. I know all about not taking time for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why in my message and conversations, I want people to take more close look at time and not so much at money and superficial things. And, because time, I'm telling you, reality always wins. You don't have nothing against that. Reality always wins. And time, for these guys out here waiting too long to get their prostate checked or seeing their doctor, or it's sad. I don't want to see no many people doing GoFundMe every time somebody pass away. Be
Ooh.
prepared. Be
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah, you're right about that because a lot of people will be in that.
Even your children, I don't understand, and I'm not judging nobody. I never judge. I'm more about just making observation. Why is it that you have a child and your child don't have life insurance? It's not
Yeah.
just for when if somebody passes. Use it for the collateral of the family, the structure, the contingency plan. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
come on.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
If you can buy weed and a drink or what is Gerber, $5 and change? What we spend waste more money than that. What's $20 a month? I mean, come on.
Yeah, and that's the truth. I used to say that all the time. I say it's not expensive. So
The
the
insurance company, will speak up for more people because they're gonna say, "Wait a minute, y'all gotta leave these people alone, man. It's gonna cost us a lot of money. Leave them alone. They're an asset."
yeah. So, out of all the things that you've done, I noticed that when I looked at the pictures, you had many things. I mean, when I looked at some of your awards that you have
Oh
here,
yeah.
you know.
Um,
So talk to me about those things. Talk to me about how that came about, Carl. Talk to me what was
um,
it that you did that allowed you to get those awards. What was it
listen,
that- how did how
that
did
was
you get there?
let me tell you something. I've had the same phone number for 30 something years, right? And I get a phone call, yo, I need you to work tonight. No, they told actually it was an event. They said we're having an event and I need you to work it. And I said, okay, they know the price. It's been the same. We've done business before. And they wait till I get there to hand me this stuff and say, hey, you know, you're going to be presented with the Lifetime Achievement Award. And, so I'm like, wow, wow. So here's your certificate, here's your pen, And I'm like, okay, thank you. I didn't know what to really say. I'm just, you
Yeah,
know,
and then to be on the Wall of Fame. What restaurant is this?
oh, that's a landmark location on 124th Atlantic where I'm the first bodyguard or executive protection or security. I'm the first to ever been inducted into the Wall of Fame at this location because mostly all the pictures on there is famous people like celebrities of music and arts and everything else, movies and TV. But hey, I get a phone call. We're gonna put you up here, and we think you deserve it. I'm like, okay, I'm humble, thank you. And a good brother of mine, he hits me up. He's covering the whole thing. I remember a few celebrities came out. Lisa Ray even been there and took pictures of me in front of. It's funny because there's a lot of people that actually visit there
Mm-hmm.
and stood in front of that picture and took pictures and sent it to me. And Lisa Ray was one. Mr. Cheeks was another. Uh, Horace Brown. There's a few people that did it. So I'm very proud of that and thankful more so. You know.
And then talk to me about your acting career. We didn't talk too much about your acting career. You've done a lot with Law and Order. I saw a couple of things.
Yeah, I've been on Law and Order SVU a few times. I've been on Blue Bloods. I've been on My Wife and Kids, mostly background stuff. I registered with Central Casting, and the phone rings, the email come through, and hey, go ahead. Same thing with Black Ink. I've done security for Black Ink for like 11 years, so it was like while I'm there, you get caught up in the mix. So.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. You have a lot to be proud of, man. Lifetime achievements, Hall of Fame. What next? What does Carl want to do
No,
that he has not been able
there's
to do
more.
next?
There's a see. This is what I'm saying. We can't cover my life in one segment. I also remember I graduated theological seminary school. I also became an ordained minister. Believe it or not.
Yeah, that part right there. That when you told me that
Yeah,
blew me away because
yeah,
like I have to tell you, even like this side that I'm seeing you today, it's like Carl has so many different sides.
yeah.
Like when we see you on these podcasts, you are out there and you have a whole different demeanor, you know. Uh, but
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying. Like we meet people online and we never really know who they are. And so it is a privilege and an honor to be able to see this side of you because I'm learning a lot about you. I'm like, oh, he got another side to him.
Listen, I had my law degree. Trust me, I didn't want to be no lawyer, no judge. I just wanted to say I graduated college, so I took up law. And like I said, every time I walk in my house, I see articles written on me. I see, you know, certificate. I see the accolade. Now it doesn't. How can I put it? Now it's like, okay, I did it. I move on. What's next? That's all it was. I remember when I took my exam for the captain's test, and
You're a captain in the police department?
no, boat license.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had you gotta take a little exam, and it was tough, but I scored a 95, and it's fun to call me Captain Shaft. But it's like I said, it's just I just love accomplishments, but I love just saying that I did it. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. Just I did it, and find something else to do, something else to get into, something else to accomplish.
So what really makes you happy out of all these things? The law, the celebrity bodyguard, taking the boat out, cruising. What is it that really makes you happy? What do you enjoy doing the most?
To be honest, just staying still, being able to sit. Why? This is the thing. Being able to not have to do something, but you want to on your time. That's all it is. It's being in a position where I don't have to worry about nothing. Just wake up when you feel like it. Sleep when you feel like it. You want to go somewhere, go somewhere. If you don't, you don't. You eat what you want. You do your exercise. A lot of people don't know. I do 100 push-ups every morning. Okay. I read a lot. Um, I research a lot. But I'm still good with my hands. I like to fix things around the house, whatever. It's a lot of things that I just like to stay busy. But I also like to relax, pace myself, and just enjoy the fruits of the labor, enjoy life.
That's amazing. That's amazing. 5 years from now, what do you see yourself doing?
I don't even know. I really don't.
In a perfect world, what would you like to be doing 5 years from now? Are you still single? Are you still by yourself? Are you still
Oh, I hope not.
married with children? Well, probably too late for the children. Are you traveling on that RV? I mean, what is it that you?
I I would see me traveling more, definitely. I would see me hopefully married. I would definitely see me in a more advanced stage of relaxation than it is now, because there is more that I could do to advance the relaxation part of it. I mean, money is never an issue. Time, hey, I can't control that, so it's more like, hey, every day is different. What you gonna do today? Make it constructive. That's all. You want to be lazy? Be lazy. You want to run errands or take care of something? Go ahead. You want to barbecue? Go ahead. Whatever it is, you choose to do it, and you just enjoy it. But don't put yourself in a position where you have to do. Don't put yourself back into a 9 to 5 mentality.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah.
is
Like a
out of.
lot of people do when they retire. A lot of people, so many people, you see them in the Walmarts and stuff. The older people, at the door, taking your receipts and stuff because they had to go back. And not everybody plans it. Some people have unfortunate situations. Somebody passes away, they go from a two income to one income. I mean, sometimes it's poor planning, sometimes it's just the unexpected, but proper planning is necessary if you can. And if you start early enough, then you can prepare for that. But I want to go back to one thing you said, because we haven't talked about that much, because I don't never hear you talk about that much. The ministry gift that you had.
Yeah,
I think I heard you say you can do a wedding if you wanted to. Or so,
yeah,
how do
yeah.
you use your ministry gift now? Do you? I mean, because I never
Well,
hear you about using it.
the thing about it was, like I said, with everything else I've done, it wasn't planned. I just kind of fell into it. I am more into studying the history of different religions. So now it's not really to go out there to open up a church or, do marriage counseling and all that, typical stuff. I just want to be on point with the history. What is outside of what people thought they know. They talk about Mary not realizing she was 14. They don't know Jesus had siblings. What's this real story between Adam and Eve and Lilith and the twin? It's a whole lot of things that we read, but we don't understand because we never got into the history of it all. So that's where I'm at. I like to dig. I like to learn, and not just take things on. You know,
Wow.
'Cause like I said, it wasn't until I was like 25. Yeah, about 25. All these time going to church and being an altar boy and singing in a gospel group and all of this stuff, it was all superficial until now I'm in the 20s and 30s. I didn't know there was a Bible before King James.
Mm.
I didn't know there was religions that existed before Christianity. There was a lot of things I didn't know. But
Mhm.
now that I went to school to study and graduate and all that, now I can keep digging. And wow.
So, is there anything that you haven't studied or taken up between law and theology and all these things that you're interested in still perhaps taking up in your free time, since you have nothing but free time? What would be something else that you could possibly go and learn, like a craft or a field that you might possibly look into?
Now that's the spontaneous side of me. Okay. Like my laptop is sitting here. They got what 1, 2 terabytes of memory. I'm the guy that would sit there and if we're talking, I'm looking it up. I'm ready to dive into it. So it's not no one particular thing. I'm a learner. So I don't it's whatever is at the moment, whatever comes at me, whatever I come across. You know, I
Wow,
just want to learn.
that's it. And you just uh you want to be active. You don't want to be
Yeah.
dormant. You want to be doing
Constructively.
something. Yeah,
Constructively.
yeah,
Because you can be active, but if it ain't constructive, man, you're wasting valuable time. So I
right.
want to be able to learn things that I know I can help others with.
Yeah, yeah.
It can be useful.
And on that note, talk to me about as we get ready to try to land this plane, because, like you said, you're a very interesting individual. You have a lot that you've done. You've contributed so much uh, with your service, with law enforcement, bodyguard services, all the different things you've done, lifetime achievement, everything you've done. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you would like people to know about, Carl? Like, what is it that when you decide to stop doing everything and you just really totally just on that RV, just going state to state? Because I know you don't want to get on a plane, and we'll talk
Yeah,
about
I
that.
don't. That's the thing. I don't fly. Everything is always driving with me. But
What made you? Where did that come from? Not wanting to get on the plane.
no, I don't. I don't like how they do the whole um, up and down. I don't know what it. I don't like that feeling. I don't like the fact that
The
there's not.
takeoff and the landing. You don't like the takeoff and
I don't.
landing.
I don't like the fact that there's people that are not responsible being held with that gift of my life at the console. You know, they drink too much or they got drugs or issues. I don't like how the search procedure went crazy. You know, it's a lot of things. I prefer to just drive. I like to be relaxed and comfortable.
But you've been out of the country. You have been on a
Oh
plane.
yeah, I've been, but that's when I was younger. Not really much as an adult. I've been to Puerto Rico, Panama, Jamaica. I've been around. I just, as an adult though, it was like, nah, you got to get wiser in how you do things. I'm just not doing that.
So
And
you don't want to travel when you meet this wife or do what you did. You would
no,
never.
now that's different. I get married. Yeah, now I stop smoking. Now I start, because I always said if I ever got married, my honeymoon would be in Qatar. You know, I'm not gonna lie. First it was Dubai, but then I said change it to Qatar. I want to do things with a partner. I don't want to do things solo. That's crazy. You know.
So why wait to get married to stop smoking, Carl? Why not? What you a stickler for health? Why not?
Yeah, but I have my vice too, and don't think my life was easy. Now there was a
There,
lot of decision making, a lot of tough calls, a lot of ways that you gotta, how you say,
different, different.
decompress.
Yeah, decompress.
It's not easy. There's a lot of people that rely on you, trust your judgment, and everything. And boy, you better bite your nails and pray and hope because you don't want to let somebody down. You don't want to be in a position where my bad, I'm sorry. You can't fail. That's what it is with me. I can't fail.
But Carl, sometimes we make mistakes. We fall down, but we get up.
Right? But again, prep, if you prepare, long-term thinking, prepare, research, you can avoid that brick wall.
So your fear is failing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
And
know.
so you will feel like you totally let either your parents down or whoever's looking up
Nah,
to
I
you.
don't. I don't know anybody that I deal with. People that trust in me, people that rely on me, people I'm responsible for. Nah, I can't fail. I can't fail. I know it's tough love on myself, but I was raised on tough love.
But that's the weight of the man that they feel right now. That's why mental health is at an all-time high because the pressure that to feel like you can never make a mistake. I can never, miscalculate, or I can never make the wrong call. I can never, you know, go left when I should have went right. Or, if it costs me money out the bank, I can't make that mistake. You know what I mean? That's
Make
a lot of
sure.
pressure. That's a lot of pressure.
Let's put it this way: there are, like you said, miscalculations, presumptions. But if you do your due diligence and planning and preparation, contingency is something I don't hear black men or black women saying.
Having a contingency plan, you
Yes.
you always have to have a contingency
You
plan.
got to be able to switch on a dime. That means if you're having chest pains, Yeah, I know where the closest hospital is, but I also know where the other one is too. I know this direction, but I know a different direction just the same. So I don't want to ever get caught in a situation or position of any sort where that was the only way.
Yeah, you should
Like a
always have an
trip.
alternate. Yeah, an alternate plan is all. You should always have an alternate.
Especially when it comes down to someone else's well-being, life, money, um, livelihood, whatever. I just can't. I can't. I'm hard on myself because the same way I am, I hope there's others out there just the same that, yo, we're not don't fail, man. Just have contingency, strive, prepare. That's all.
But I want to say something to you about that. I want to say to you, give yourself some grace. Kwame said, "Looking good." Kwame said, "Looking good, Carl."
A little
I
quiet.
want you to look and give yourself some grace
But
because
that's
we
not my
all
job.
have to give ourselves grace. You understand what I'm saying? I mean,
That's
just
not my that's but see that's a misposition. That's not my job to give myself grace. The man upstairs gives me grace when it's over with.
when it's over with, but grace and mercy. There are times when we have to give ourselves grace and mercy if we just can't. You're welcome, Kwame. No problem. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. You and I, every human being on this earth, have to give ourselves grace sometimes. Like grace when we want to do something, but we can't because our body said no. We have to listen to our body. Grace when we want to save the world and do things, especially people like us that have a servitude, that are extroverted, that are used to helping others. You know, there comes a
Let me
time.
ask you. Let me ask you something, because when you with the way you're describing it, let me ask you something. Which would you prefer? You buying your own birthday cake or someone else providing you a birthday cake? Which
Something
one?
like that. I mean, of course, who wouldn't like a gift,
Right.
right? If somebody else gets it, of course. But if you
So
want the cake and
this is the
nobody else,
thing. So this is the thing with grace. You can give it to yourself, but the real impact is when it's coming from an external, not you giving yourself an award. The man upstairs is rewarding. That's the difference. If you want the grace, he will provide it. He will put people and things in place for you to benefit. If
well,
he
let
doesn't
me.
want you to
Okay,
have it,
so let me change the wording. Let me since you put it that way, let me change the
yeah.
wording. I need for you to accept the grace when he gives you grace. Because there may be a time where you may make a mistake. And what I'm hearing you say is I can't make a mistake. Because if I make a mistake, I'm hard on myself. But I need for you to be able to receive the grace if you make that mistake and say,
Oh, of course. Okay. Okay.
that's what I mean.
Let's put it this way. I don't want to. I don't want to ever be one of them people that use mistake as a way to not learn from something or not prepare
Oh,
for the next time. So that I think that's why I'm hard on myself because I don't. I'm so anal when it comes to keeping things organized and clean, and you
but I'm
know.
like that too. But you know what? Sometimes, Carl, sometimes we can't be OCD. Sometimes, listen, um,
You know, chaos without structure, right?
yeah, but guess what? You know, and there's an organized mess sometimes too. But here's the deal. I lost my train of thought, but I was gonna say when I
Don't
said
worry
that.
about it.
But I know that we cannot be so stuck on that we cannot just accept it when the time comes, you know. But man, listen, I tell you what, I'm so glad we had this conversation because I got to see another side of you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank
I'm
you.
seeing
I
another side of
appreciate it.
you. I'm like, you know, because usually we see that outspoken, you know, sometimes obnoxious can be arrogant, can be boisterous,
Listen,
can be all those things. But there's a calm side to calm too. But you don't ever want people to see that side because
no, it's not at all. It's just that, you know, from what I'm observing, it's called observational learning to me. Observational learning. When you see a bunch of knucklehead, yes, you have to be James Evans from Good Time. You got to be Ving Rhames on Baby Boy. Tough love is the only way some people understand. But when there's time to be James L. Jones on Claudine, then you do that. But they have to want it, give it. It's like a permission slip. But
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be getting on men and women and call it as it is. There's a lot of guys out here with their stomach hanging over. You can't even carry a woman 5 blocks out of a fire. So I don't see what protection you're going to do if your health is below subpar. You know, the flexibility, the understanding, the knowing how to just. I'm gonna give you a question that I recently did. Right, I asked the fellas, "Do you think that you are responsible for your woman or wife pH balance?" These guys are saying no. That's a female thing. So this is what I'm trying to give people is that is what you know is not enough. There's things that you need to know that later on you will be more grateful for, thankful for. What do you mean you sleeping with a woman you don't what you eat, drink do affect her pH balance? Guys have to be I want guys to be prepared for the responsibility of a woman. Don't think it's all about a few bucks, paying some bills, sleeping with her, and that's it. Know her blood type. Know what food or medication you're allergic to. You come on, at least put 5 years you've been sleeping with her. She's not even a beneficiary on your life insurance. I mean, come on. Are we playing house?
It's deep. It's deep for some people. It's deep for some people. That is for sure.
You gotta want better. Otherwise, you're gonna keep recycling dollar store dudes and not qualify for quality men. And everybody got excuses. Damn the excuses.
So let me ask you this. Is there anything that I did not ask you that you want people to know about Karl Shaft, the armed bodyguard?
Well, there's one big thing. No tattoos. Never been shot or stabbed. Never been knocked out. I played it. I reffed it. I coached it. But I don't watch sports. I don't watch the news. I don't eat seafood. I don't eat pork. I know I don't fly.
Don't eat seafood either?
No.
Wow, no fish, no nothing.
I don't drink. I don't do drugs, but I deal with wine coolers and stuff every now and then. A glass of wine.
So you're a steak and potatoes man.
Yeah, baked potatoes. Baked potatoes. I love baked potatoes. I don't do mashed potatoes. Bottom line,
Italian food.
Oh, definitely. I'm still nostalgic. I'm still cream of wheat, porridge, Captain Crunch. I'm so nostalgic. I never forget the past. I gotta embrace and appreciate it because that's where I come from.
So, but are you forgiving? Because you said you never forget the past. I don't know how good that can be.
Now
somebody's like, oh, they're gonna bring that back in somebody's face. Oh, you remember you did this.
No, I don't throw things back at people's face. That's one thing about me is I don't throw things back at them. But I'm gonna tell you this though. You only got one time to mess up with me, and that's it. I don't give second chances. I don't spin blocks. I don't do none of that. If you didn't work, you didn't work. That's it. Forgiveness, I could do that in my head, but that doesn't mean I trust you. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, going back to you only got one shot. So, yeah. I can forgive internally over time, not immediate. I'm going to tell you that right now. My tolerance and patience level is never on the same accord. But
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you open up and letting us know a little bit more about Karl Shaft, the bodyguard, than we have seen on these internet streets.
Mhm.
I truly, truly am so glad that we had the opportunity to have this conversation. Uh, it's definitely been real. I'm here uh, tending the family right now, so and I saw her come in here, so I'm
Yeah.
going to make my way out there so I can see what's going on and get myself prepared for what's to come. Tomorrow's an exciting day. Got a new addition to the family, so getting
Hey.
yeah, got another grandson, so I'm excited about that. Still trying to bounce back and handle my business, from situation, but I'm grateful for the
Mhm.
preparedness. I'm grateful for that because when things happen, you have to be ready to shift. You have to be ready to adjust. You have to be ready to do what you have to do to get yourself back where you need to be. So, any
And the only thing, like you said about grit, the only thing is pace yourself. Don't try to cram everything up in one day, 1 week. Spread it out so you can have time to relax in between.
sometimes that's easier said than done, though, sometimes for women because when they have taken on the role of having to step into being the head of household, having to step into being a provider when they are single women, sometimes
That's a
it's
choice.
not always that easy. Because if they're doing everything, what I mean, if they once had that partner and they don't have it anymore, then sometimes they're not always so calm, and they do pace themselves, but at the same time, it's out of character for them. You know what I mean?
Well, my,
So,
my, my message to them is just like you do everything else in life. If your earring is lost, what you do? You buy another one. If you get a flat tire, you get another one. You just replace it. If he didn't work out, get another one. It's a choice. It don't have to be hard. You're making it hard because you're not allowing someone to bring in that interdependency skills necessary so you don't have to do everything yourself. And I ask women all the time, which would you rather pay? $2,000 in rent by yourself or have a partner where you don't have to pay it all by yourself?
or
Which?
don't have to pay it at all because they paying.
Exactly. So I mean, come on. It's like I said, people make wrong choices every day, bad choices, selfish choices. Got to think long term. Like we said, 40, 50 years can go by real fast.
Yeah.
You don't believe me? Remember New Edition? We knew them when they was Candy Girl, Little Dude. These
Yeah.
guys are in their 50s now, married with kids.
Yes.
Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank y'all for coming through here. You've been watching Story Time. This is where you can come. Everybody's story matters here. You can have a big story, a small story, it doesn't matter. Everybody's important, you know what I mean? Because what you go through can help somebody else. A lot of times, some people they're walking around hiding what they're dealing with and they're suppressing it and they're depressed. But what we do here in Storytime is try to bring you awareness and information. If you go back and you go through my channel, probably have about 200 to 300 episodes, and you're going to find some information. Somebody who's been through something you're going through that's going to help you. Somebody that shared, whether it's the person who I've had the people from suicide to mental health, just all areas. And Carl gave you some pointers today on how to just, survive through life, through challenges. He talked about things, we talked about things with the police. We talked about different scenarios. So if you just coming
And,
through,
and,
make sure you go back and
and
make sure.
we can't help those that don't want to help themselves. I know we want to do the right thing, but some people just don't know how to receive it or they'll take advantage of it. So when you come across people that you try to help and they do some fishbone stuff, then it's like, all right, you got that, but you can't return. You can't, karma is real.
Karma is real. You ain't never lied about that.
So I'm
Carl,
not worried about it. I'm not losing nothing. If anything, it's your loss.
yeah. So tell the people how they can follow you, where you are on social media,
Well,
and what
I'm,
you
I'm
have going on with your Evo and everything, so they can connect.
well, Instagram is Karl Shaft, 2, but my first page got eradicated due to political crap. It's all right. Damn it.
Are you still available? Are people still able to book you for bodyguard services? Or
Um,
see?
I still have a lot of guys throughout the United States and across sea that I still stay in touch with. I usually pass it to them, but there are select few, very select few people. Like last night, I went out and did a job for a couple hours. People I've been working with for 12 years. So I don't mind. There are some people that I will still come out to, but as far as being out there at them concerts and like I was doing before, Thursday through Sunday and all over the place. No, I'm not doing that.
You paid your dues, man.
Yeah,
You paid your dues.
yeah,
You don't have to do that no more, right? So
yeah.
that's what that
It's
is.
funny because there's a club right now that I've done for years. I just happened to read an article. Somebody got shot up in it, and all them years that I worked it, we never had those problems. So it's like, wow, yeah. But yeah, Carl Shaft Carl Shaft 2 on Instagram.
And on
And
YouTube, what's happening on YouTube on Thursdays?
and on YouTube every Thursday around 8:15. It's a bunch of us guys in a barbershop talking about all kinds of stuff. But the premise is this is a way for women to learn how men interact with each other, check each other, and how they really feel and think about things, and that takes away the guesswork or the assumption work out of it all. So, most of the questions I do put up, I create and put out there, and we've been going strong. We're past 500 subscribers, and we're just trying to get more new blood in there and new faces and keep it going on because I think women do need to hear what men know, think, and feel, then go by what their aunties told them or what they assume on social media. Come over here to the barbershop every
Come
Thursday.
on into the barber shop. And what's the YouTube channel where they can follow?
Um, Evolution Media. Evolution Media. You can't miss us. Evolution Media Men's Live. It's on YouTube. And we go on StreamYard, Twitter. She does all of that.
Yeah, she produces it. And ladies and gentlemen, we will have some of those panel guests on our next episode where you get to
Hopefully.
meet the gentlemen. We'll get to meet some and find out a little bit about who these gentlemen are and a little bit about their personality. So stay tuned for that. If you have never been here before, we ask you to go ahead and subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Check it out right here. If you look and see, you can come over here to Storytime and be seen and heard on multiple platforms. Okay, that's what we're going to do for you. And just be heard. We want you to come on so you can be heard on Storytime. All right, here on Storytime. And you have been watching Karl Shaft tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are so grateful to have Karl here. Karl, any closing remarks?
Like I said, never sleep with a man that don't have life insurance. Never deal with a guy past 5 years if he don't know your blood type, what food and medication you're allergic to, and definitely don't deal with no guy after 8, 10 years that you're not a beneficiary of his life insurance. I mean, there got to be some agenda, intentions, and motive. Otherwise, we're recycling. So either be part of the problem or part of the solution. So that's what I can leave people. And be
All
safe out there, please. Be safe.
Be safe out there, ladies and gentlemen. You've been listening to Karl Shaft, the armed bodyguard. I want to thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for coming and being here on Storytime with Shal Crystal. We'll be back. Today is Sunday, right? We'll be back Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we thank you. We thank you so much for being here. If you have never been here before, please, please, please go ahead and hit that scan. Take your camera out right now. Take a picture, scan it, and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. We at about 500,000 views right now for the channel with everything that we're providing. So we're approaching that 500,000 mark. So we're excited about that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my pleasure and my honor. Karl, appreciate you. I will be in touch. We will see you on the next story time. My name is Crystal Bodie Smith. I'm your Hope Catalyst. My mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives. And I always say 3 words: keep hope alive. God bless you. I love you. And I'll see you in the next story time. Bye-bye.
A catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey!